Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.
From St. Louis Public Radio. This is St. Louis on the Air.
I'm Sarah Fensky. A shortage of baby formula continues to grip the U.S. One organization doing its part to help is the Milk Bank, which takes in donated breast milk and dispenses it to families in need, more than 400,000 ounces of it last year. The nonprofit serves Indiana, Missouri, and Kentucky, and it's seen an 89% increase in requests for help in the past year. Locals are stepping up to meet that demand. Advancement Director Jenna Streit says it heard from an average of 13 Missouri milk donors each month in 2021. Last month alone, 100 Missouri moms offered their services. One mom doing her part is Afsheen Wira. She is a nursing student living in St. Louis and a milk donor, and she joins us now. Afsheen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Afsheen, when the Milk Bank offered to connect us with you, they described you as a milk donor extraordinaire. You've donated 5,000 ounces of milk. How did that journey begin for you?
It was very quick. My first daughter, I had a very, very low milk supply, and I had a goal of getting her to a year of breastfeeding, which I was able to do a year and a half.
Wow.
And then with my second daughter, when I got pregnant, I was anticipating a low milk supply, and I was blessed with an oversupply. And everything that I had was just extra after feeding my second daughter. And so I just kept it for her if in case my milk supply ever ran low. And if it wasn't from the tap, she didn't want it. And we tried everything. And so it just kept storing in our freezers until we filled up 2 freezers.
2 freezers full. Wow. And then you donated all of that?
Yes, I donated all of it. I think it was close to 5,000 ounces.
Wow, that's crazy. So how many months of pumping does that represent?
Honestly, it was over the course of her being born and up until about a year. It was just everything extra while I was nursing her. I would just bag up and freeze. So probably a lot of hours for those pumping mamas.
So for those of us who've gone through this, pumping is the worst part of motherhood ever. It's just terrible. Yes. As you were there doing this, did you have a sense of, okay, someone can benefit from this, even if it's not my kid?
You know, in the moment, it's absolutely awful. I hated every single minute of it, but I was always thinking of my girls. And now I reflect back on it, and it's amazing how many babies will be able to help, especially with the shortage. But like in general, how many babies will be able to help is just incredible. So I'm glad I went through it when I did, so that way, it's resulting in what it is today.
So how did you end up getting the milk to the milk bank? Was that difficult?
So I actually reached out to the milk bank at the beginning when my daughter was born and just, kind of had it there because I thought that I wouldn't be able to produce enough milk with my first daughter. So I was looking for donations, possibly. Mm-hmm. And then when I noticed that I had an oversupply, I really just kept the milk bank at the back of my head. And then I started nursing school, so I was very busy, but keep going at it. And then I realized, if my daughter is not going to have it, how can I help other people? And so I reached out to the milk bank, and most of the freezers were full at the time. And just as of a couple weeks ago, I reached out again because I wanted to empty out my freezers for ice cream and things for my girls who now want that. But they had a big milk drive at Cardinal Glennon, and so I coordinated with the milk bank and made sure they had enough, the freezer boxes and the dry ice to be able to transport it all. And so I met them there. I had 5 roller coolers with me and then extra milk, and they loaded everything up while I was there. It was pretty cool to watch, and all the nurses were just kind of surprised that it was all mine, and I was like, whatever I can do to help, this is perfect for me. And more ice cream for my kids.
Yeah, this is a win-win. So if someone ends up in the same situation and they're lucky enough to have an oversupply, would you encourage them to get in touch with the milk bank and to make this kind of donation?
Absolutely. And it's it's kind of a tedious process, but it's totally worth it in the long run. And I did it again, like for the idea that I may need the donor milk, and I didn't even realize this was a thing that was available, and I'm so glad that I did. And so yeah, absolutely, I would recommend it to anybody who's able to store the breast milk, and if you don't end up needing it, donate it. It's amazing that you can help as many little babies as you can.
Well, Afsheen Wira, my hat is off to you. This is so impressive. I love the idea of these rolling coolers rolling up with all your milk. I want to thank you for joining us today, and also thank you for what you've done for all these
Friend
families
helped me from
in need.
school, so yeah.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for joining us. And we do want to encourage people, if you want to find out more about the Milk Bank, how to donate, also where the nearest milk depot is in your area, you can visit milkbank.org. This episode was produced by Danny Wissentowski with audio engineering by Aaron Dorr. Our production intern is Avery Rogers. This podcast was mixed and edited by Avery. Our executive producer is Alex Hoyer. St. Louis on the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio. Understanding starts here.
Do you find yourself regularly listening to episodes of St. Louis on the Air? Suggest us to a friend you think might enjoy our conversations. And leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts on the App Store. It's the simplest way to help people discover our show. Thanks.
St. Louis Public Radio is a member-supported service of the University of Missouri, St. Louis.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.